Some people call us fanatics. I consider ourselves enthusiasts. I'm KaijuNoir, and this is Shuwatch!
Super dynamic! Ultra Force!
Go! Hello, people of the internet. This is again Andres Perez, aka KaijuNoir, here with episode 2 of Shuwatch. And of course, as usual, I have Mr. David Joshua Hernandez, aka Gorizard.
The internet bows to no man. Until now. And I've proven that.
And last but certainly not least, Mr. Adam Noyes.
Hello, insects of YouTube.
And as you can tell, we actually got past our pilot phase of the series, and now, yep. Imagine like this was an actual like television show where we had one of those rejected pilots.
Fuck them. We do it anyways.
Like
it's an internet show.
They're like, fine, we'll make our own show with blackjacks and hookers. Okay, so for my first section of the podcast, I wanted to discuss something that I've been wanting to talk about in the SOS podcast for a very long time. Now, how many of you have heard of a Godzilla, a canceled Godzilla fan film called Godzilla 0 Hour? Yes,
I have never heard of it.
I see.
Well, this should be interesting.
Well, it was this Godzilla fan film, and from what I could gather, the story was kind of like it revolved around Godzilla, Gamera, Gigan, and Legion, and you had a series of, I guess you can call them reporters, who follow the activities of these four monsters, and that the kaijus themselves were going to be portrayed with a CGI.
Oh, so this was a recent thing? I thought it was like a Godzilla versus the Wolfman thing, where it was a thing from that was planned in the 70s or 80s, and then Toho just canceled it.
No. It was actually a very recent thing. It was in production around the same time as the other Godzilla fan film, Godzilla X the Kaiju Killer. And, and it got the movie itself, the Godzilla 0 Hour, was actually hyped up a lot for several G-Fests, but it kept getting delayed until eventually it kind of like disappeared into the wind. And I came across this post on the Toho Kingdom forums where it's like a first-hand account of what happened during the production of Godzilla 0 Hour. I was going to read off this first-hand account and pause every once in a while to give you listen to you guys' opinions. But unfortunately, my voice, as the audience can probably tell, isn't as chipper as it usually is due to this darn flu. So Adam has decided Adam is going to read this. And Adam, are you ready?
I most certainly am, Andres Perez.
All right.
Adam will be more than happy to read it.
So Adam, read away, and pause whenever you think it's necessary for us to express our thoughts on this troubled production.
I'll just read it like William Shatner then. The article is called Godzilla 0 Hour, the biggest fandom joke ever. As posted by Monster Master on Toho Kingdom forums. So I was watching Ultra Q, and for some odd reason, suddenly began remembering Godzilla 0 Hour. Now, for those that don't know, this was said to be a fan film of epic proportions starring Godzilla, Gamera, Gigan, and Legion. The only problem? The makers were liars and idiots. I shall pause there. Because right from the get-go, I'm intrigued. You know, right from the get-go, you're intrigued by this forum.
Oh yeah, totally. Especially if you're like someone like David who's never heard of this fan film.
Now, I remember seeing a trailer for it on YouTube. I remember seeing a trailer for it where Godzilla knocks Gamera into a building and the building explodes. Mm-hmm. That's what I remember. Literally what I remember. But I remember hearing about it.
Okay. And David, would you mind going on to Google and just go to Google Images and put Godzilla 0 Hour?
will most certainly do.
Just so you can have an idea of what what the special effects were supposed to look like.
Yeah, and they don't look that bad.
No, not really. I mean, for like low budget CGI, it's not that bad. I mean, plenty of people have complained that it looks very PS2-ish, but I can understand it, considering the budget.
Yeah, me too.
I actually found the post that I think Adam is reading. Okay, okay, is Gigan's in it, right? Or was supposed to be in it?
Yeah. And for some reason they made this. Yeah.
Because I'm seeing like a picture of what looks to be the 2004 Gigan from Final Wars.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's essentially what they were
that's the one.
For. Yeah, they kind of gave it a bit of a like purple fins, and they gave Gigan like a new form called, I think it was Psycho Gigan, where he has Dr. Octopus tentacles.
This actually doesn't look that bad for like a low budget.
I mean, have there been fan films where you rely on CGI? Because I think Godzilla X the Kaiju Killer is like the only one so far that used actual suits, but everything else has been stop motion, I believe, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Stop motion with toys, which I don't count as fan films.
Yeah, neither have I. Yeah, I mean, sorry people. I'm sure you've worked hard on those, but whenever I think fan film, I think like an actual legit like film with like production, not just a stop motion battle.
Yeah, pretty much the same here too. Even though I did love the Godzilla vs. Gamera and Godzilla vs. Bacon videos, those were excellent. But anyways, shall I continue?
And continue away.
Virtually, they sucked up money from those dumb enough to donate and buy cheap T-shirts. Though they did have G-Fan magazine fooled, along with the whole crew. At 3:30 a.m., I figured I'd do a fun search, see if anything came up over the years I had missed. Sadly, nope. But this was posted at Monster Zero, which, honestly, I don't remember seeing. Was from one of the crew members and former friends of the director.
David, you're gonna love hearing about this director.
You're gonna love hearing about this director. Oh my god!
And I just want to say, I'm kind of like one of those people who's like very fascinated with the kind of films that turned out to be like complete disasters. I'm kind of like fascinated with how something so big can go so wrong. Whether it's something like, say, the Spirit movie or the Lone Ranger or Green Lantern, where it's like something that just caves in on itself. And this is one of those productions that.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
This is bad. Okay.
Keep going.
Now this is from the crew member now. I basically quit the Godzilla 0 Hour crew out of frustration. In case anybody didn't know, I was the webmaster and a production assistant for GZH, Godzilla 0 Hour, for about half a year. Franz has the biggest ego of anybody I have ever met. I guess Franz is the first name of the director.
Is that German?
Pretty sure.
Continue.
Of course. I've met plenty of filmmakers, musicians, actors, etc., 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 and none of them have ever had an ego like this guy. I knew Franz had a big ego from day one. Just the way he talked about GZH was very condescending towards the genre in general. Hell, I remember one time I mentioned that the Millennium series left me cold, and I didn't think Toho's last G movies were all too good, and his response was, "That's 'cause they haven't been made. They didn't have me do them," with a straight face. He says, "That's 'cause they haven't had me do one of them," with the straight face. I just want to say, I can be a sarcastic motherfucker, but seriously.
It's kind of like if you were to say, "Oh, I could have done Citizen Kane better than Orson Welles could have."
Of course. Yes.
Apocalypse Now, amateur-ish.
Amateurs. Oh my god. Did I just get shish?
No, not shh. I was like, shh, because I know there's actual people out there that actually think like that.
Oh, well, I apologize to people, even though you're stupid. Okay, I shall continue. I got sick of the way he was jerking people around, both the fans and the crew. He would get other people to do everything. Then he would just go back and do it himself. My good friend Bob Harrington composed a kick-arse score for the movie, and he ended up throwing it out for crappy U2 wannabe bands and lame pop and techno music. Jose wrote, who's Jose now?
I guess he's
Jose,
the writer.
Yeah, he's a writer. Jose wrote an awesome script, and he went back and practically rewrote it word for word. I was at almost every shoot for the movie, and before shooting, he would tell the actors to go with their own flow and play off each other. But almost every take, he'd yell cut and tell them to parrot the lines as he tells them to him. That's not directing. He's continually snubbed his nose at the whole Godzilla series, saying things like, there really haven't been any good Godzilla movies. I just want to show its unrealized potential. It's unrealized potential.
Huh.
Sounds like Roland Emmerich.
I'm pretty sure the three of us have some choice things to say to that statement.
You fucker.
Wow. I mean, it looks like he just seems to be one of those people who just has no respect for Godzilla at all, or has no contempt for it. So I'm thinking to myself, why even bother with this property that you're not even a fan of?
I know.
And just like, he's basically just crapping all over the original series. And for someone who's making a fan film, it's just, very disrespectful. And
it gets worse. Much worse.
Oh, please do go on.
While praising directors like Michael Bay and Joel Schumacher, his favorite Batman movie being Batman Forever, and this caused many a debate, me being a diehard Batman comic fan. Does that sound like a fan to you? He would always talk about how they need to remake insert movie here because they needed to have modern special effects. We were watching Carpenter's The Thing one night, and he even mentioned that could do with a remake.
Oh, the irony.
Oh, the irony.
There was a remake that had supposedly more updated effects, and it sucked.
Well, you want to know what they were originally going with? For some reason, they were originally going with physical effects.
Oh, yeah.
And they actually did a lot of physical effects, but then for some reason they cut them out and replaced them with CG.
Right, I heard about that. I was like, really? Why?
Why?
Wait, what? What?
With the original... you remember that prequel Thing movie, David?
That came out like a few years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm familiar with it. Yeah, they did. They actually did the practical effects first, but then they replaced it with CG. I don't know. I don't know why they did.
I think they did that because maybe audiences are turned off by practical effects. Maybe they're so used to CG now that it's all they think about.
I don't believe that was the reason. I think the reason is because this was a studio decision, I believe. It was because it was cheaper to do it in CG than pay the artists to do the practical effects.
Which really doesn't make any sense, considering they ended up doing the practical effects that look better.
Right.
Yeah, like, I really want them to release an ultimate cut where they use the physical effects.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would be interested in seeing it. Anyways, let's go on, shall we? This was all very frustrating to me because I come from an old school indie kind of film background. I embrace things with low budgets and resources. But Friends is very much from the Michael Bay MTV style editing. CGI is the best thing ever background, so our opinions clashed a lot. But I never held this against him, even if I was frustrated with it all. I tried to show him tons of great movies like Taxi Driver, and he just snubbed his nose at all of them. Every time I showed him a movie, he would just go, you know, I would have done that blank if I made that movie. I think it would have been better that way. WTF.
And he calls himself a film enthusiast.
A film enthusiast.
He considers himself a fan of film in general, yet he snubs his nose at all the classics.
Yes, he does. Here we go. The thing that made me mad was that he thought GZH was going to be better than the real Toho production films. He really thought his movie was going to be the second coming of Godzilla, and it was ridiculous. He even demanded that we stop using the word fan film. Okay. The thing that got me was the way he never did anything with this movie. It was always a new excuse not to work on it. Broken hard drive, no money, blah, 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 blah. He was supposed to have the whole thing done for G-Fest last year, but instead he didn't even start shooting anything until like 2 months prior, after a good 2 years of hyping it up at G-Fan. Then he had to miss the first day of the con because he was trying to edit this mess all together, and we came out with just stupid talking footage and a short preview at the end. Okay, whatever. The crowd seemed to be able to understand the time issues, and Franz promised the fans to have it done by the end of the month. Well, it's almost another year gone, and there is nothing there. He's just lazy. He likes talking about making his movie, but he doesn't like making it. He spent most of his time playing Xbox and crashing sites like Toho Kingdom with the loser from Master City, all while bragging about his non-existent, never-gonna-be-made movie. This is why Erica and Bob Harrington have an inside joke. We call GZH Godzilla Zero movie instead.
For someone who talks a big game like Franz, you really need to back up your own statements. I mean, if you're not gonna even make the movie, just keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, exactly. And I hate it when people do the all talk and no do. I hate that so much. That's one of my big pet peeves.
Mm-hmm. Let's see.
All right, go on.
Mm-hmm.
But it gets worse. G-Fest last year was a complete debacle for GZH. I have been going to the con since I was 12, and even I'm almost ashamed to show my face this year. Since Franz missed the first day, he called me when I was in Chicago and asked me to wear the t-shirt that talked about Godzilla 0 Hour and get people involved. This is when he was still at home editing. He didn't know he wouldn't have the movie until that night. So I thought we were going to have a complete film. So I told God knows how many people, many of whom were children, and got them excited and told them we'd have the shirts for sale and that the movie was going to knock them out, etc., etc., etc. Then the presentation came, and not only did bad sound and the picture so bad nobody could see it, not to mention all we had to show was footage of people
You
talking.
skipped the line. You skipped the line. It says not only did we not have a movie, but the guy doing the audio visual in the ballroom wouldn't turn off the lights or turn off the sound for us. So we had a crappy looking movie, bad sound, and that's where you start.
Okay, sorry. Bad sound and a picture so bad nobody could see it. Not to mention, all we had to show was footage of people talking. But even then, the shirts sold out, and people bought the word that the movie would be done in the end of August. Then Franz said at the end of September, then October, then he said it to be done by Christmas. Then basically said, I'll finish it when I feel like it. And now, just earlier this week, he posted a topic on his forum saying he just wanted to give up, and he basically pretty much hates GZH. I could have told you that a year ago. At the end of last summer, he called a... Oh, that's a
I guess
he called us
typo.
he called us for a dinner. I guess.
Yeah, he called us for a dinner meeting with me and one of the actors. And he basically told us that he was going to make the first episode of GCH and then not do anything else. But he didn't want to let people know because it would kill his hype. His hype. So he was going to lead everyone to believe that the whole project was still going, even though he was going to abandon it. At one point during the same conversation, he told me the only reason he wanted to finish it anymore was to make the Godzilla versus Kaiju Killer guy look bad. Ugh. Why would he want to make Godzilla versus the Kaiju Killer guy look bad?
Once again, I guess it's that ego going in where I guess Godzilla 0 Hour and Godzilla X the Kaiju Killer were made roughly around the same time, like 2007, 2008. And yeah, I guess it's kind of like that thing where you see this movie, that this other movie that someone's making that looks a hell of a lot better, and you kind of hurts you. I'm sure that something like that would have hurt this Franz guy's ego.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like kind of like where with studios nowadays, where it's like my superhero movie is going to be better than your superhero movie.
Exactly. Yeah. Anyways, also I feel terrible for the fans who bought the shirts. He charged $20 a shirt, even though they only cost him $5 each to make. $20 isn't a terrible price, but for how little they cost to make, he could have lowered it a bit.
You know, if you've seen that logo with the Godzilla 0 Hour logo with Godzilla, Gamera, Gigan, and Legion.
Yep.
Now, if that was the design that was on the T-shirt, I would have loved to have a T-shirt like that.
I know, me too.
That's a really good logo. But if it's like text, just like text that just simply says Godzilla 0 Hour, then no way would that be worth $20.
Oh, exactly. This is where I get pissed. He said the profits would go towards the film, but instead they went towards his PSP that he bought on the way back from Chicago, and he never even plays the thing. I honestly couldn't stand the way he manipulated the fans and even the way he talked about the fans. It seemed like I was the only one that gave a damn about the fans in the first place.
Yeah.
He bought a fucking PSP.
Not even a DS, a PSP.
How dare you buy a PSP? PSP suck.
There's some good games on it, but yeah, seriously.
Seriously, you could have bought like, I don't know, like a laptop where you could play PC games on it. You had to buy a PSP.
And you could have gotten a new hard drive, maybe a new program to make better CG. I
mean, Jesus. I don't really care the fact that you just scammed a bunch of people out of money. You bought a PSP. Why? No, I'm just kidding. Seriously, you don't do that. That's technically illegal.
And wouldn't that be like false advertising when you're advertising a movie that's not even going to come out?
It's false advertising. That's exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm. David,
one question I got to ask: does anyone know how old these guys were?
I really have no idea, but
Probably my guess is the same age as the guys that made the Kaiju Killer.
So they're like
probably somewhere around like 20.
Yeah, in like mid to late 20s.
Yeah.
No. That
If they
is
were
ridiculous.
if they were high schoolers, I'd be like, yeah, okay. But
It looked like they were trying to approach this from a professional angle.
I know.
No, they tried. They tried. I mean, it was supposed to be a fan film. You do take your fan film seriously, but at the same time, you don't go over your head thinking that this is going to be like an actual legitimate production.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess this was the downfall with this Franz guy, is that he thought that his vision was going to be better than anything else's, and so he treated this production, or this fan production, into something it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yep.
He was completely delusional.
Clearly.
It almost seems like okay. First of all, what I really want to ask this guy who wrote the post, does anyone who wrote the post, the name of the guy behind the GZH, was it the producer? Was it an actor?
The guy who wrote it. He said that he was. I was the webmaster and production assistant. Yeah.
Okay.
And it seemed like he was close friends with the director, so it seemed like he was there every step, every shooting.
Right. One thing I want to ask this guy is that what convinced him to hire this Franz fellow, that he had enough credentials to direct something at all?
I believe that he was like close friends with this guy who made the post.
Yeah, probably.
And maybe that's like the one, because I think this was like a circle of friends that was doing this project.
It seems to me like you know, like those people on YouTube, you see them like bashing on actual good things like The Dark Knight, or something that's actually good, something that was actually made with effort. And for some reason, out of the blue, they just throw the Michael Bay slam at you, saying that he does it better in this certain way,
mm-hmm.
or that another thing that was obviously less superior than like The Dark Knight or something else. You know, it seems they gave it to one of those people.
Right.
Like,
I think it seemed like this kind of person. He seems to be the type that he thinks that the most important thing about a movie are the spectacle, the visuals.
Which Andres likes to think that that's what I think.
You wouldn't be far off. No, I'm just kidding.
Sure. All right. Just because I like visual effects. Excuse me for liking good visual effects.
No, but the thing is, you seem to make it.
I'm bringing this up later.
Okay. All right. But I guess anyways, back to this where I was completely like shocked to find out about this fan film and this whole debacle, and I eventually found another post where it's the exact same thing that Adam just read, except these people, after they abandoned Godzilla's 0 Hour, they were going to try to make an Aliens fan film, and that the person who wrote this entire rant, I guess you can say, he was the one who was going to be in charge of this Aliens fan film. But Franz, he kept shooting down every idea, and that he was pretty much kept taking over the production. And whenever they had people that could make practical effects, he would say, no, let's not do that. We have something. And what's funny is that in this description about them on the first day of filming, the friend kept asking Franz, "Where's the script? Where's the script?" He's like, "Don't worry, you don't need to worry about the script." And so the night that they were shooting, they were writing the script right there.
Oh, that sounds like Compound of Chaos. It sounds exactly like what happened to me.
Because they plan on shooting this Aliens fan film over the course of a weekend. But the fact that Franz was so lazy, he waited until like the very last minute, and I guess by the time he finished writing it, it was like, I don't know, extreme, like maybe like what, 3 o'clock in the morning or something.
Well, then why the hell do they keep having him work on the project?
Well, I guess at this point, at the end of this extended rant, he said that this person hasn't even talked to Franz anymore, and that I think Franz himself is banned from Toho Kingdom because of all the arguments he kept getting into on the forums.
Oh, Jesus.
I
People suck.
I tried looking up more about this Franz character, but I can't really find anything. So it seems like he just disappeared into the depths of the internet
My God.
where he
Who could
belongs.
blame him? Because
He's in Tron.
This guy sounds like the most despicable person in either fandom or film. You know, I mean that level of attitude towards anything at all is really unacceptable.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, you're all talk, but at the same time, you're not really all about the walk. It's just really not a good attitude or behavior to approach anything at all, especially if you're handling a well-known franchise. Even though it's just a fan film, fans would still, invest in this fan film because it's based on something that they like, that they're fans of.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah, Dave has it right.
And it's just I think I've said this before, where it's just completely disrespectful to criticize the people that came before you. If it weren't for like so many great directors and they're making so many great movies, we wouldn't have the film industry. And this guy here single-handedly trash talked the entire film industry.
This reminds me of a situation that happened here in Vegas, and it's quite the polar opposite, but still twisted in the same aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, they made a low-budget indie film called Stealing Las Vegas with Eric Roberts here.
Mm-hmm.
And my screenwriting teacher, he was very good friends with the director and writer, Francisco Mendez. And Stealing Las Vegas was produced by Roger Corman. It was produced under his one of his companies. I think it was Anchor Bay.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's it. That's the one, right?
Yes.
Okay. Anyways, from what he told me, Stealing Las Vegas was a flop. Well, it wasn't released on a worldwide theatrical scale. It was an independent film, but it was a shitty film because Mendez, what he did, he handed his script to Roger Corman, and Roger Corman didn't like it, and he told him, could you rewrite it? Just make it seem a bit different. And what Mendez did was he said, okay, I'll rewrite it, but he didn't do that anyway and just submitted his original script anyway and filmed that version instead. And Roger Corman got so pissed that he didn't notice that they used the script for Stealing Las Vegas until after they released it on DVD. And so now Francisco Mendez is banned from making films from Roger Corman because this was supposed to be the launch of his career. Because he still is a teacher at UNLV here in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess after his departure, he went back to teaching. But the thing is, the similarities between us is that he had that same ego as this Franz character. Before he ever met Roger Corman and got the deal to make his own movie, he didn't teach shit, apparently, according to my teacher. He said that all he cared about was directing. He couldn't care less about teaching his students. Mm-hmm. So he spent a good majority of the time trying to direct instead of teach his class.
So what would happen to the actual class? Would every class get canceled?
I have no idea. I honestly don't. I don't know how that works. All he told me is that what he would do is just rant about subjects that didn't even relate it to directing. He would just discuss a certain film, and it wouldn't be about directing. Sometimes it would just be about just the most randomest thing. Like if it was like a rant clashing with the review. And on top of that, there was like some, from what I heard, because I met someone who was involved with the production of the movie, saying that there was a lot of flares going up and demands on certain rewrites in the script. And there's a scene in the movie. I haven't seen it, the movie at all, nor the scene, but there's this fight scene that just completely is mismatched throughout the whole movie. The whole movie is basically a mess because of Francisco Mendez. And he basically took advantage of Roger Corman's trust.
I just want to say this. If you pissed Roger Corman off, you did something really bad.
Oh yeah, and if you really want to get into the film industry, never make any enemies. You'd never want to piss off the wrong people, especially not someone as notable as Roger Corman.
Yeah, that's the lesson to learn from these two stories. That if you have an ego, a really huge ego, you're probably not going to make it in that industry or any industry for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's okay. It's okay to have a little confidence, but it's not okay to be overconfident up until the point
well, here's the difference.
where you.
Here's the difference that I'm seeing. You're talking about ego, and the difference between a lot of people, unfortunately, mistake ego for ambition, and they're two completely different things. In fact, in order for you to really make it into the film business, I think you need to have a lot of ambition to prove yourself worthy to go there and to prove yourself that you are able to do the shit that you can do. But ego, I think you need a certain degree of ego to be like, I can do this. Like, you can stand up and say, I can do this. I know I can do this.
So basically confidence.
But you can go too far. Yeah. You could just go way too fucking far. And
Right.
this is an example of just
the worst kind.
This is one of the things that's starting to bug me about Tarantino. Tarantino has such a big ego.
Oh yeah, but at least he can back up his talk. I guess you can say he's earned at this point in his career. He's certainly earned that ego, I guess.
But he's had that ego his entire life.
Huh. Oh yeah, I guess.
Well, yeah. He had that ego early on, but I think it just got bigger up to this point. Because when I look at interviews of him between now and back then, he was much more kinder back then than he is now. I think he's an asshole now.
He is an asshole.
I think he's a dick.
What do you think of someone who has posters of his own movies all across his house, all over his house? I mean,
William Shatner. God, he's an ass. Tarantino is a goddamn ass.
But at least he is nothing like Franz here. So
This
yeah.
is true.
Mm-hmm.
This is undisputably true.
Mm-hmm. So do we have any? Do any of you, either of you, have final words on this wondrous production history of Godzilla 0 Hour?
Okay, so did they get any CG work done?
Yes. Yeah,
Yep.
there are some you can see like the CG screenshots if you Google Godzilla 0 Hour on
There's
Google
one
Images.
shot of Godzilla walking through Cleveland, of all cities, on YouTube that was on film.
And there's like an atomic breath test animation.
Yep.
Yeah, certainly not the best CGI, but it was passable. And you know what I wanted to say? I wonder what this Franz guy thinks of the new Godzilla movie. He's talked about how he wanted to resurrect Godzilla, like the second coming of Godzilla, but now the real Godzilla is coming back to theaters on May 16th. So you gotta wonder what that guy's thinking of this movie. But then again, he's probably thinking. Go ahead.
He's probably thinking the same as those guys on YouTube who just shoot down everything like, it's another Hollywood piece of garbage, or I can do it better in this guy's case, since he thinks he can do anything better.
Yeah. He's like,
anything you can do, I can do better. Anything you can do, I can do too.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
Yes, no, you can. No, you can. No, you can't.
Yes, I can. Shut up, Andres. Shut up.
Well, anyways, let's hope that Franz never comes anywhere near the Godzilla community, nor any sort of Godzilla-related convention or film production or anything. Although I'm pretty sure that's already been the case since whenever this movie was supposedly getting made.
Yeah, it sounds it.
I'm pretty sure that if there was an incarnation for Michael Bay, I'm pretty sure this Franz guy would be it.
Let's hope that this guy never goes anywhere. So, that concludes the first section of Shuwatch. We'll be right back after the break.
Greetings, my friends. This is my section of Shuwatch, where you will spend the next 30 to 45 minutes of your lives. Here I am God, and there is no turning back. So now that I've got your attention, I'm here to discuss something that, Andres and I have been getting into a little argument about on Facebook lately. And, just the whole thing that, he doesn't like Gorath, or he thinks it's boring because, it doesn't have good characters in it. And, stuff like that, and how he's a little upset the fact that
you called me out. You arrogant bastard. And funny how in the last section we were just talking about egos.
I know. You arrogant bastard.
Anyways, continue.
The whole thing really started with, he said that my review, I think I was talking to you about the X from Outer Space, wasn't I?
I'm not sure. I think you did.
I think it was because the thing was, Andres, I actually really agreed with you on that review.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the film's so nostalgic for me. It really is. It's a very nostalgic kaiju movie for me.
And I can understand that part.
I will always be biased towards that movie for that reason.
Uh-huh.
But I remember you bringing up. I remember you talking about. Oh no! What I said was I like technobabble.
Mm.
That's what I said, and then you're like, I noticed that in your Gorath review that you had a huge entire section on the special effects, but not a very big section on the story or character development in it. And I was like, well, excuse me for giving credit where credit is fucking due.
I just feel like there are certain areas when reviewing a film, there are certain areas you have to cover for every film.
I did cover the story. I did.
I know. I don't mean to criticize your review, but I just think that it was a little bit unbalanced. However, I do understand that you were talking from your heart, and you really do mean what you say, and you back up your opinions, and that I can understand that. But I don't know. I guess, it just comes down to me not agreeing with you, but that's just me.
Who reviews the reviewers?
This isn't even... Oh, don't even get me started on that horse crap. Who reviews
What, can't you criticize a person's ability to criticize?
Yes, but
no!
They don't need to be ego... Oh my god. These are like...
Oh, come on.
They have egos the size of China. They have...
Really? Captain Logan and Vince and Manos?
Yes!
I like those guys. I really do. In fact, Captain Logan was one of the main inspirations for me joining you, doing the style that I do with my reviews.
I'm beginning to think that you're just saying anything to piss Adam off.
Just saying anything to piss me off. But here's the gist of what I was trying to say, or what I want to talk about. When do you consider visual effects being the most enjoyable thing from a movie, and when do you look more at the story? Because this thing made me think a lot, and it made me realize that I do love visual effects. I do love cinematography, because those are two areas that I'm absolutely passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not Michael Bay. I like good stories. I love a good story. I love me good characters. In fact, I should have said this to you, Andres. Why don't you go watch my Star Trek The Motion Picture review? Because there I praise the visual effects, but pan the story.
Mm.
And then I was going to say you should watch my Star Trek 3 review, because there I do nothing but talk about the characters. But, there's some movies out there, and I will always say this, like Battle in Outer Space and Gorath are two examples. Star Trek The Motion Picture is another example. Hell, even Avatar is an example where I will watch it only for the visual effects.
I guess you can say like a good portion of Ray Harryhausen films.
You can. You very much so can. It's just that I love visual effects. When you have good visual effects, I'm going to give it credit.
Right.
And I guess it just depends on your preference of story as well. Because I like Battle in Outer Space and Gorath, I mean, let's face it, these are two movies that I'm kind of going to be talking about on this thing, have a very much so a docudrama-esque style. Docudramas aren't supposed to be character-driven stories. They're supposed to be plot-driven. You go from point A to point B, and that's pretty much what a docudrama does. It doesn't focus on characters, usually. I'm a fan of those kind of movies because usually a lot of historical movies are that way, such as war epics such as The Longest Day, A Bridge Too Far, even classics, even more modern movies such as, let's say, Gettysburg, or even more recently, it's not even a war movie, but Contagion, a virus that spreads around the earth. An extremely good movie, and it was made in the docudrama style. And that's the style that those two movies seem to be going for anyways, was that they were going for docudramas and not a legit movie, if that makes any sense at all.
I think so, and to be honest, I never really looked at those two films that way. So that's a very interesting take.
And I will definitely say that Gorath has better characters in it than Battle in Outer Space. Battle in Outer Space, all the characters are 1D. But, David, are you still with us here?
Why, yes I am. Yeah, what?
Why don't you just give your 2 cents on this goddamn talk? When do you... Give us some examples of where you just watch the visual effects and don't really care about a story.
Well, Pacific Rim, most recently. But, there's a lot of films like that. Like, Versus is the prime example of why I watch a certain film just for its visual effects or cinematography. And, and when you review a movie, there are certain aspects you do need to touch on. But when the movie does lack those aspects because they weren't there on purpose, they weren't intentionally there to be, I don't know if you could you could touch on those subjects if you want to or not. I think that's up to the reviewer. But when you look at a film like Versus or Transformers 2 and 3, I don't think you need to nitpick at the story because there's not supposed to be a story. Those were effects-driven films. But when you look at a film like Inception or The Thin Red Line, for example, those are story character-driven films where you do touch on those.
Those are very... in fact, I'd even say the Thin Red Line more than Inception. The Thin Red Line is definitely a character-driven story, not a plot-driven story. While Inception is very much so a plot-driven story. I mean, it has good characters in it, don't get me wrong, but it's more of a plot-driven story.
Well, I guess, let's see. There are definitely movies where they normally use visuals to tell a story as opposed to using characters and dialogue. And I just feel like there are certain elements that every story needs to have, like such as the 3-act structure, the protagonist, antagonist, supporting characters, and I don't know. I guess.
And that's something with Gorath that's interesting too. There isn't really an antagonist in it. I mean, you got the planet, but there's no real antagonist in it.
Right. It's mostly a disaster film, and there have been plenty of disaster films over the years that where it's this dangerous world that they've just entered. It's like basically it's a survival film. The main theme of the story is survival.
A great example of that's a character-driven story is Watch the Road.
Oh yeah.
That's a magnificent film, a great book too.
Or to bring my favorite movie into this, Jurassic Park. You can't. It's a survival film. The main dinosaurs themselves aren't really. You can't really consider them villains, but it's this surrounding. It's this world that they've entered that they need to escape from. And yes, they use a lot of visuals. Such the dinosaurs and large action set pieces. But at the end of the day, if you don't care for the characters, then it's not really, it's kind of hard to invest in the story at all.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think of Stanley Kubrick used a lot of visuals to tell his stories. He did. He used a lot more visuals than he did dialogue. In fact, he's a staple. His staple is doing that, or was doing that. And for some, I guess this is just me being that cinematography guy, where every shot needs to be set up a certain way for a reason. A lot of things can be told with just cameras, or where the camera's positioned is. You don't need dialogue. You don't really need story to go along
True.
with it for several. I'm not talking about the whole movie, but there's several huge sections of a movie that can be nothing but a character like sitting there.
Right,
and just because of the camera work, you know what's going on.
Yeah, true. And I guess a perfect example of that would be the first 20 or so minutes of Pixar's WALL-E.
Oh, God. Freaking, I love the first 20 minutes of that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. And that really didn't have a story to it either, or at least the first half of the movie didn't.
Right. It's again like going through
that was just a robot going around.
Right. Several days in the life of this robot.
Yeah.
And they without dialogue, with dialogue, or set pieces, they're able to make this interesting character in a way that's very compelling, and that you're curious as to how this robot gets by on a day-to-day basis.
Exactly. Like, are there any Toho movies, like Toho Kaiju movies, that you feel that way about? Like, you just watch it for the visual effects?
Would Son of Godzilla count? Because it's one of those movies where there are large portions of the film that focus on Godzilla and Minya, and they're technically special effects, but they're also characters, and they don't talk.
Yeah, see, that's why I wouldn't call it that. Like, I love the story of Son of Godzilla. I think it's so fun.
Yeah.
Surprisingly good human characters too.
Oh yeah.
Especially, I love Akira.
For me, it's The Mysterious. I watched that movie for its visual effects.
That has a good story to it.
Yeah, and especially
it does. But okay, for The Mysterious, I watch it for its visual effects. But Atragon, I watch it for its characters and story.
Oh, Atragon! Oh my God, that still remains to be my second favorite Ishiro Honda movie, besides the original Godzilla. But you see, I have that way for Battle in Outer Space, of course. I mean, there's just some things that just catch my eye and I love about it, like the sets. I mean, sure, the story is lackluster, but goddamn, the sets are so intricate. The visual effects are so beautiful. Of course, I'm going to call out those visual effects. I'm going to praise those visual effects like there's no tomorrow. Gorath is kind of the same example, but to a much lesser scale, because there actually is a pretty decent story in it.
I just found out a movie where I'm all about the visual effects, but I don't really care so much for the story is the Frank Miller directed movie The Spirit. It's a really awful movie. In fact, I would consider it like probably my guiltiest pleasure of all time, because I just felt, as a little kid, I was captive when I saw the trailer in theaters. I was captivated by that neo-noir visual style, and this was before I saw Sin City, and so all of this was new to me. And even to this day, I have the movie on Blu-ray because I love the look of the movie. It has characters, it has a story, they're just not very good, and extremely, very badly executed film. But you're right. Yeah, it's one of those movies where I just love looking at it.
Exactly. There's some movies that I just absolutely love looking at. That are just absolutely beautiful. As much as you guys know how much I hate Avatar, I hate Avatar with a goddamn passion. In fact, it still remains to be my number one overrated movie of all time.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of people have brought up the fact that it's a incredibly unoriginal story, but other people have claimed that it's one of those things where throughout history the same stories often get told again and again, and this is just another example of that.
Yeah, and again, I love the visual effects, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Love the visual effects. Let's see.
So I guess I now see where you're coming from. But would you still consider it a good movie if it's all special effects, but no story or characters?
Well, that depends. If the visual effects kept me intrigued throughout the entire thing, yes. If the movie didn't keep me intrigued with the visual effects throughout the entire thing, no. Battle in Outer Space, I kept looking at the screen because of how wonderful the visual effects are. Let's see, another movie where that's the case. Earth versus the Flying Saucers.
Yeah.
Visual effects kept me intrigued. Nothing else did, but the visual effects did.
It came from beneath the sea.
It came from beneath the sea is another example.
It's very, very amazing special effects for that. What I like to, and it's even though it's an octopus, I actually call it the hexapus because
the hexapus, right? Yeah.
6 legs, 6 arms,
6 legs. Yeah. And I don't give two shits about the plot in those movies, but I'm still going to call them a good movie because the visual effects kept me intrigued throughout the entire thing. Dave, would you do that?
I do that all the time.
Thank you, Dave.
I don't know. I just can't bring myself to say that I can. If a movie has poor characters and story but has amazing visual effects, I cannot bring myself to say it's a good movie because as much as I love watching The Spirit, I can't say that it's a good movie. And
here's the thing, Andres. It all comes down on what you personally think of the film. If you kind of like conform to the consensus of the critics, they all say it's a bad film, then you kind of don't have no opinion on the film whatsoever. But it really comes down on what you think about it. Like, for example, I hate the movie Avatar 2. I think it's a film with a bad, overused plot and predictable characters. But I keep coming back to it because of the visuals and
exactly, yeah,
and just the visuals alone is enough to make me like the movie. And even though I say I hate it, I also like it at the same time. It's just, like those situations where you hate it, but you like it at the same time. No, you hate it that you like it.
Well, I'm not afraid to say that I love Battle in Outer Space, but
do you think that when filmmakers put a lot of effort in the special effects, but they still have characters, but the characters are lacking, do you think they still make the movie with the intention that with the intention of having the audience be invested in the characters and story?
That depends on the connotation of the movie.
Like
if you're making a docudrama kind of movie, you're just there for the plot. That's exactly what it is. Gorath. Hell. Even Gravity is a plot movie.
And there's definitely characters in it.
There's some character in there.
And it's compelling character development in that movie.
I wouldn't call it compelling, but...
Really? Because I would consider it compelling.
I thought it was compelling the first time, then I watched it again. I was like, oh, this is actually kind of stupid. Other than the scene where she crawls up in a fetal position. That was great. I love that shot.
But let's take something like we just mentioned it before. It came from beneath the sea. Do you think the filmmakers made that movie with the intention of having its audience care for those characters?
No,
absolutely not. I mean, the visual effects artists they don't care if the audience cares if they're invested into the characters or not. Their job, the whole core of their employment is to focus on getting the visual effects done. They could hardly care less if the film either flops or if the audience actually gives a damn about the character.
Well, you see, and again, this is why I praise people like Ijit Tsuburaya and Ray Harryhausen, is that when they did their visual effects, they did it with care. King Kong Escapes, I couldn't give two shits about the plot. But the monster's character in it, King Kong's character and how he moves around, makes the movie. And those are visual effects. You said it yourself, Andres. Son of Godzilla.
Yeah. And let's see, would you consider the Transformer movies good movies if it's all about the visual effects?
I would never consider those movies. I wouldn't consider those movies good movies, and here's why. I can't see what the fuck is going on.
So if the special
effects... reason why I hate these movies so much is, one, they play with every single stereotype ever existed, and two, I can't see what is going on.
So you're saying
because he shakes the camera so much. If I could see Optimus Prime fighting something, I'd at least leave the theater saying, "Hey, I enjoyed that."
I want to say something about Transformer.
Okay.
Because I recently reacquired the film through torrents.
The first one, or
my dad and little brother wanted to see it, and I told them I sold the movie before.
Oh.
So I just decided to download. Decided to download it for them, and just for the heck of it, I decided to revisit the scenes that I loved when I first watched it, and I realized that these action sequences, I agree with Adam, I can't see a goddamn thing.
You can't see a thing, and if I could see something, I'd at least find something I'd enjoyed in it. You know,
like the very minor fight scene with the Bumblebee and the car
barricade,
Decepticon.
Barricade,
yeah.
The police car.
Yeah, there's a certain point. There's a certain point where they get from point A to point B in the fight, and you have no idea how they got there in between. Bumblebee would be on top of Barricade. All of a sudden, the next shot, Bumblebee would be on the ground, and you would be like, how did he get there? I mean, because
no continuity sense at all.
And let's not forget the fact that at the movie's climax, all the Decepticons are rounding up, and you clearly see Barricade saying, he's like, "I'm on my way," and then you never see Barricade through the rest of the movie. It's not until wait,
wait, go on.
Well, I was just going to say that Barricade wouldn't appear until the third movie in the background saying, "Hey, remember me?" only to be killed off unceremoniously.
Barricade's the car Decepticon, right?
Yeah, the police car.
Okay, I'm thinking about the helicopter Decepticon.
Oh no, okay. He was clearly, he was the one that got shot and killed by the humans.
All right. But okay, the reason I'm beginning to realize that the reason why I ever thought the first Transformers was ever good is because I never seen anything like it. And the thing that got me hyped up about it, that made me like it and come back and watch it again back then, was because of the action sequences, because I never seen anything like it. But there was this combination of fast movements and all these sound mixings.
I'll admit that I have a soft spot for the first Transformers.
Same here. I think it might be the closest to being a decent movie in terms of story, characters, the whole package. And
then came 2. And then came 3.
Yeah, you think that it's every movie Michael Bay would say, "Okay, we're totally gonna make this better. We're gonna focus on the Transformers this time. We're gonna make them more compelling. We're gonna add more characters." But
no,
apparently focusing on Transformers equals more explosions and more fights.
Which I'm a testosterone filled.
More Shia LaBeouf screaming.
I'm a testosterone. I'm a testosterone filled dude. Okay, I like me some good explosions. Hell, I will go on a 30-minute rant whenever I review Terror Mechagodzilla on how awesome the explosions are in that movie. But of course, I talk about the characters as well, Andres. But if I can't see what the fuck is going on, I'm not going to say it's good. And in terms of the visual effects wise, and an example of a movie that I absolutely love but couldn't really give two shits about the plot, unless I was really analyzing it, Destroy All Monsters. Destroy All Monsters. The sets are so beautiful and so well shot. The costumes are very flamboyant and very colorful. The visual effects are outstanding. And I will still call that a good movie.
Now, what if you had a movie with amazing special effects, but characters that stick out in a very bad way? like if you had a character like Shia LaBeouf's, Sam Witwicky, where he's constantly annoying and unlikable. Does that annoying bad character affect the way you see the movie?
Who's that?
Well, the thing, that was a Shia LaBeouf's character from Transformers.
First off, I never said the Transformers movies were good.
No, I'm saying that if they had good special effects but terrible characters that
rub you the wrong way,
does that?
Here's what I'd say to it. I'd say it was distracting, but I'd still go and see it again.
But would you consider it a good movie?
I'd consider it a decent movie.
I guess it's one of those situations like where you find it tolerable or not. Because I found Shia LaBeouf tolerable in the first Transformers, but
same here.
Number two and three, the character just killed it for me. And the Transformers films, the first one wasn't a good movie for me anymore. It was just it's all right now. Because, that it's one of those situations where you don't see it at first, but once you realize it, it just shatters the illusion for you, and you see it from a different perspective now. And that's how, the evolution of the character of Sam Witwicky, just transpired for me at the end of number 3. I found this character utterly annoying. I don't care for him at all. I honestly wish he would have been one of the casualties in the movie.
I completely agree. Yeah.
I also love. Don't you just love it how the second movie they went to pains. Apparently the writers try to make it so that him and his girlfriend were supposed to be a legit couple, only for them to break up off between movies for the next part 3.
Well, here's the thing. Steven Spielberg doesn't like it when you call someone a Nazi, even if it's not him.
Right. It's funny. It still confounds me as to how Steven Spielberg could have produced all 3 movies. These movies do not look like something. I've seen stuff that Steven Spielberg has produced, namely stuff like Animaniacs, Tiny Toons, Pinky and the Brain. But those are those products are quality, very high quality products that he produced. But the Transformer movies, did Steven Spielberg really want to have his name attached to those things?
Well, here's the thing. And Adam, you could correct me if I'm wrong on this, because I'm still kind of in the loop of what's the difference between an executive producer and just a producer. Okay. Steven Spielberg was just one of the many executive producers of the Transformers films. He was never really the full producer.
But wasn't he
was very much on the sidelines.
But wasn't he the one that wanted the Transformer movies to be made in the first place? Because his children were Transformers fans.
Was he?
I'm not sure to be exact.
I believe so.
Here's what I know.
Because I remember seeing the documentary on the DVD of the first movie.
Executive producers come from the studio, or at least from what I've heard. They come from the studio. Producers can be anybody.
Oh, so the executive producers are kind of there to make sure that the actual producers are doing their job or something?
Pretty much. Or the producers go to the executive producers, who then the executive producers go to the executives, who then give the green light or the red light.
Well, after this conversation, I guess I can say that you're right. If a movie is still entertaining with its visual effects over its story and characters, I would say, I guess I can see why it can be considered a good movie. But because I've seen many other movies that have great characters and great story along with great special effects, I would consider that a higher tier of a higher quality than the ones with great visual effects but lacking story and characters.
Yeah, I just love, I think Peter Jackson said it correctly. Peter Jackson and I can agree on this. Well, we agree on a lot of things, but Peter Jackson said in the King Kong documentary that he is a frustrated visual effects geek. And whether you agree with that or not, I can say that I'm a pretty frustrated visual effects geek myself. Give me some good visual effects, and I'll praise the visual effects. I will praise the visual effects. I always have one of my mottos is always give credit where credit is due. And if the visual effects are good, praise the visual effects team. Absolutely praise the visual effects team. You know, that's really all I have to say. I just find this argument, kind of wish I saved it for a day that I was more alive, but
Same here.
I guess I'm the only one who's perfectly normal.
Half of that was real.
Mine was real. It just so happened to have coughed by coincidence.
You son of a bitch. Son of a bitch.
Now that's an audio effect. And because we have such splendid audio effects, that makes our podcast excellent.
Woo!
So have we come to the conclusion of this section, Adam?
I think Dave had something to say.
Oh, okay.
I did? I forgot.
I think you mentioned like.
Oh yeah, that's right. He has the attention span of a tiny dog. Okay.
Adam, I have the internet at my grasp. My attention can go anywhere.
This is very true. Yeah, that's it.
All right. Would you like to make an outro?
Don't kill yourselves, people of the internet. I'm Adam Noyes. I hope you enjoyed this. Sayonara.
Hello, people of the internet, and welcome to the final segment of episode 2 of Shuwatch. And allow me to introduce you guys to David's section.
A David section? It's Gorizard After Dark.
Would you like me to repeat that?
Yes.
Okay. No, I'll do it. I'm doing it.
That was intentional.
All right. Gorizard After Dark.
Okay,
Gorizard, proceed.
Okay, so this incident happened today, as a matter of fact. Not at work, but at my own home.
You saw Adam staring at you through the window.
What?
No. But that wouldn't be the worst thing that happened today. Okay, care to guess what happened?
What happened, David?
I said guess.
Oh,
You had to unclog the toilet.
No, but I do that on a daily basis when I go to work.
Oh,
Your new PS3 broke again.
No, but I actually got a new PS3 from a pawn shop for $150.
You could have saved yourself some money and paid for $60 with customer service, David.
A yellow light of death is not a temporary fix. I mean, it's not a permanent fix. I mean, it's gonna come back one day. But then again, I guess that kind of sounds irrelevant since I got a new PS3. It'll probably happen to that one too.
Okay,
I'll tell you.
All right. Oh, you ordered a movie on Amazon and from a third party user, and you got it, and the case was broken.
No,
Okay.
but I got Ultraman the next, and I made that loophole where I can break the region code and watch it, and the quality is actually really, really good. It's almost HD like, and this was just a copy of the disc.
Gorizard,
No.
expert hacker.
Gorizard, were you taken into a back alley and raped like a little bitch?
Wait, what is that supposed to mean?
I'm trying to guess what happened.
Yeah.
No, okay. You give up?
No. Let's see. Yeah, let me try to.
Let's see. Let's make up some really outlandish things.
Oh my God, they're gonna be nowhere near close to what actually happened.
You got captured, transported to Taiwan, raped by a tranny, then transported back, and now you've discovered that you're pregnant.
That sounds like that one certain scene from The Hangover 2.
Oh my God, it does. I'm so sorry.
You were accidentally drugged, and you woke up in a hotel room with a tiger in the bathroom.
No! Oh my God, I think I just made a mistake. I just opened a whole bunch of Hangover jokes.
You ended up winning 3 cars by going to 3 random slot machines, only to lose them because of your criminal record as a master hacker.
Oh my God, David, you married an Asian hooker.
That would be the best thing that ever happened to me.
No, it wouldn't.
Imagine how many STDs that she might have.
Okay, let me correct myself. That would be the second best thing to ever happen to me. The first would be going to the premiere to Godzilla.
Okay, let me
What?
guess again. You flew to Denmark and discovered this tail, and you let it thaw, and it grew into Reptilicus.
Oh my God. It's better.
You attempted to fight off a kaiju named Bemular. You ended up getting killed, and you got resurrected by a giant alien.
It's better if I just tell you what happened, because we're never...
No. I have a feeling that David was turned into an anime character, and then he suddenly went to Japan, and suddenly these giant tentacle monsters started coming after him and just started raping him.
Oh, no, let's see. You found a cookie, you're gonna eat the cookie, but you lost the cookie.
You forgot to wear
underwear.
You forgot to wear underwear today, didn't you? You forgot to wear underwear again, didn't you, David?
Adam, I never forget to wear underwear.
Especially when you know that I'm washing.
You attempted to swim. You attempted to swim a mile and ended up sinking like a rock 5 feet in.
Oh no, I never go past 5 feet.
Okay. Let's see. You watched your first yaoi today.
Yaoi? Is that's gay
Yeah.
hentai?
No, it's not gay hentai. It's not gay hentai. It's gay anime.
Gay romance.
Boy, man.
No!
Okay, then did you watch Yuri today?
Adam, I watch Yuri on a daily basis. So, yeah, that's technically a yes. But that's not what...
Do you know what Yuri suspiciously sounds like?
A name?
Urine.
Aww.
Oh. Thanks for ruining it. Now I just have to Google lesbian anime.
Urine. I mean Yuri.
Okay, let's see.
All right, let's see. I'm just gonna come out and say it. Today.
No, we're getting close.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
You were nowhere close.
You were kidnapped along with 4 other teenagers with attitude, and you were greeted by a talking head who offered you Mighty Morphin powers.
I'll tell you one thing, something did get kidnapped.
Oh, snap.
Oh, snap. You were thrown into detention, and you recreated the Breakfast Club.
How does that pertain to kidnapping?
Because did teachers kidnap you and throw you into detention?
So teachers just randomly kidnapped me, even though I graduated.
Right. Yes. Your old teachers, all your teachers came back and brought you back to high school, and you had to sneak, and and all you had was a bandana and a cardboard box. You had to sneak your way out, Metal Gear style.
David, you lost your virginity. You are such a good person.
That was what was kidnapped.
Your virginity.
Oh my god. No. Honestly, if that did happen, I would brag about it for the whole podcast. But that did not happen.
You still are a virgin.
Shut up!
Come on, guys, this is a family show.
Shit, Andre's bull fucking shit.
Okay.
I think the concept of this being a family show just flew out the window from the very beginning.
Yeah, it pretty much did.
Adam, it went out the window when you had me and Adam involved. There was no discussion that this was going to be G-rated.
At least it's not like with Bill when his one-track mind where everything is related to sex.
Oh my god, that is so true.
Everything always points to sex when it comes to him.
Even Godzilla, it goes to Godzilla's display.
He was the one that specifically asked for what was it that he asked for on New Year's?
He wanted a Godzilla fleshlight?
No, Gondo.
Oh, Gondo, yeah. Gondo Yowie. Is there any Yowie for Gondo? I don't know, but I'm going to find out.
Bill's going to be so mad when he listens to this.
I don't care.
I don't think he's going to listen to this. Bill, if you're listening, send us a text message saying you listen to this podcast. The moment you hear me say this, send us a text message.
Hello, people of YouTube. I am Zazabar.
No. Remember?
Oh, the clap. Hello, people of YouTube, and I am Zazabar, and I'm here today to talk to you about sex, because that's the only thing that's on my New Yorker mind.
America. No,
isn't he from Long Island?
Yeah.
Okay, Long Island.
I thought he was from Rhode Island for a moment.
Oh, if he was from Rhode Island, I wouldn't talk to him.
All right, I think we should get off the Bill bashing train and actually.
No. This is fun.
Wait, before we do, Adam has to do it accurately. It has to be like, "Hello." Whatever he says.
Hello, people of the. I can't even do it anymore. Okay.
Sorry, ready to move on.
No.
I'm gonna tell you what happened.
Hold on, David. No, I'm just kidding.
Christ.
Okay, ready?
You went to a buffet and you got food poisoned.
Jesus Christ. You got E. coli, didn't
No.
Your colon has been kidnapped.
That makes no sense.
Yeah, there are people who steal your organs and sell it on black markets.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I think this thing is on the black market now.
Okay, tell us what happened.
Okay. Between 6 a.m. and 10 a.m.
Wait a minute,
Oh my
minute.
god!
Just kidding. All right. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. My car got jacked. There, I said it. I said it before Adam interrupted anything.
What?
Seriously, my car got jacked this morning.
Now, what kind of car is it?
It's a Honda Accord from either 97 or 98.
Then never mind. I don't care about it.
Supposedly, it's the type of car that it gets stolen a lot in the United States.
Yes.
Really? And did you remember? Did you forget to lock your car, David?
I was thinking about that this morning, but I could have sworn I locked it last night. The funny thing is, I'm not worried about the car. I'm worried about what's inside the car.
Is it filled with embarrassing material, David?
Is it full of embarrassing nude pictures of me that I sent you?
No!
Is it filled? Did you happen to have like your backpack in there or some?
I'm beginning to think, yeah, my backpack was in there because I don't see it in my room. I thought it was here, but no. But the two things that I'm worried about that's in the car are my headphones and my possible. Okay, you know when you get a check, you have to rip it out.
Yeah.
And what I do is I leave that second piece of paper, the unimportant one, the one where they reduced your taxes and all that bullshit. I leave it in the cupboard. I did that with all my checks. It's basically now overflowed. I'm afraid that I'm going to be a victim of identity theft.
Wouldn't they need your like driver's license and debit card / credit card for that?
They need your social security number.
Well, yeah, not that I think. Well, yeah, I've been thinking about that, and I probably shouldn't be worrying about that. But
I guess you can
know my name and address.
Oh, so they can come in and steal your other stuff.
They're not stealing my PS3.
What if they steal your Godzilla DVD collection?
Oh, gee, no. Oh, God, no.
Because I've heard stories of people that where they get their houses broken in and all their movies were stolen.
Yeah, I've also heard that a lot of those people turn out to be, like, really, really hot Asian women. And, like, they just come bursting through all the windows like Charlie's Angels, but more awesome. And in that case, a lot of people just let them do whatever they want. And, you know, me, on the other hand, I'd be like, women. But, you know, I could see David just, like, drooling all over the place.
He wouldn't stand. He wouldn't stand a chance.
He just wouldn't. His willpower.
His willpower is very weak.
They would know kung fu.
My willpower would be very weak. On top of that, they would know kung fu.
Isn't it required for all Asians?
Technically, yes, because it's a state law. It's a state law.
For every single Asian to know some form of martial arts.
According to Jet Li, it's a state law.
Oh, I love Jet Li.
So, what do you plan to do about your missing car, David?
He's gonna kill himself.
Okay, technically, it's not my car. Technically, it's my mom's because it's under her name and she bought the car. The only thing I'm worried about is the damn headphones. Because these are like, you know, really, really, really good headphones where like, you know, the bass and the beat of any song you listen to is really, really, really emphasized with these headphones.
Are they like?
And it was a gift.
Okay. Are these like Beats quality? Like those things are everywhere.
I love Beats. Oh, I love Beats.
Yeah, they're not Beats, but they are similar in fashion to Beats. And the quality of it is really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, the one time, I usually bring my headphones back into the house, but the one time I'm too lazy to go back and get them. It had to be the night I get carjacked. Or the morning I get carjacked.
And you had your car like in its usual parking spot?
Yeah.
Hey, Dave. Did you happen to find a dead baby fetus in the back of your car in the process?
What are you talking? What are you talking?
First
of all, the car got jacked, so how would I see it?
I've heard. Oh, the entire car got jacked.
No, Adam. Only the front half of the car got jacked. They took a chainsaw and buzzsaw through that thing and only stole the front half.
I need to go to bed. Oh, so it's kind of like that car from Gamma vs. Gauss?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
It's like, oh, come on, Adam, if you're going to steal the car, just take the whole thing.
Because I heard about people breaking into cars and then giving, like, females abortions and shit. Remember, this is a family podcast.
A family podcast.
Ye holy abortion. I love that episode of South Park.
Now, did I already ask if there's any way to retrieve that car? Like any insurance company you can call?
I mean, we got insurance, but I don't know how insurance works, to be honest. I don't know if we actually have to see the car, see how badly damaged it is.
Just join Obamacare. He'll take care of everything.
I'm beginning to suspect various scenarios. I'm beginning to suspect that it's halfway to L.A. now, or somebody tore it apart and sold it to the black market, or worse, somebody put it in their garage and I'm never going to see it again.
It turns out that those headphones, David, are the key to solving the mystery of the universe. And so now they have those headphones with them, okay? And for some reason, the codes for the tax returns on that thing from the check happen to be the code to hacking the computer that in order to get the secrets of the universe. And those headphones just happen to work. David, you, my friend, just missed out on one fucking amazing opportunity.
It has the ability to hack real life.
Yeah. Congratulations, Bill. I mean, oh, man, I need to go to bed.
Want to repeat that?
Congratulations, Bill. No. Congratulations. Congratulations, David. You just officially became a member of a real-life anime.
Cars get stolen in anime?
Look, fat! Oh, I hope to God Zazibar is listening to this.
Did you just call him fat?
I said, do I look fat?
I don't know, David. You haven't sent me a picture of you shirtless yet.
That's not how you tell if a man's fat. You tell a man's fat by his cheeks. And Zazibar has fat-ass cheeks.
Oh, then what do you think of mine, huh? You want to take a look at my beautiful cheeks then, mister?
Well, Adam, I think yours speaks for themselves. Literally.
Oh, you bastard. You no good. Lazy, sadistic, stuck-up, shit-eating, cocksucking, pickle-plucking bastard.
So
well, Adam, you could have summed it all up by saying, David, you fucker!
David, you fucker!
And with that, I believe it is time to end this episode of Shuwatch, or whatever it was that we just recorded. We hope that you had an enjoyable time listening. I am.
If you didn't, you can go fuck yourself.
I am Andres Perez, aka KaijuNoir.
I am Gorizard.
And I am Adam Noyes, aka Adam Noyes. What the fuck is going on here?
I honestly don't even know what we're doing now.
I need to go to bed.
I wonder if this is what Bill had in mind when he asked us to make this spin-off show.
I'm beginning to think that Bill is a witch, a warlock. There we go, a warlock.
I thought you were going to say Bill is fat again.
Come on.
I'm starting to believe that Bill is fat.
Oh, come on, guys. I thought we were both making fat jokes.
Well, here's the thing, Andres. I am fat. I can get away with making fun of fat people. David, on the other hand, is a skinny mofo. So he can't make fun of fat people. In fact, he's probably going to burn in hell because of it. How dare you make fun of our fats?
Adam, there's a special place in hell reserved for people with fat people jokes.
Come on, fatties are people too.
I have an awesome pickup line. To tell you guys. It's the most amazing pickup line I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Okay, you ready? Hey, I just shit my pants. Mind if I get in yours?
What?
Welcome to Japan, everybody.
Dude, it's when it comes to Japanese humor, it's always astounding how much of that humor is based off of rape and sexual harassment. Rape and pedophilia.
Want to hear a funny joke?
What?
Women from Japan?
What?
I said, you want to hear a funny joke?
And you said women from Japan?
Women's rights.
That's a good one, Adam.
That's a good one, Adam. I was like, kill this fucker. Oh, that bastard.
If I said that in my English class last semester, I probably would have been kicked out of that class. My fucking English teacher was a goddamn feminist. Oh my god, I hated the class so much.
Those ones who complain about every single thing that involves...
No,
every single right of male does. We need more rights.
No, okay, you would think that those type of feminists are annoying, but no. This is a whole new level of feminist, because she's not even American. She's from Greece, so she's an international teacher, as she calls herself.
Uh-huh.
No, what she does is she incorporates the feminist beliefs into every single lesson. We were talking about, like...
Is she a math teacher? Because that'd be hilarious if she was able to incorporate that into math.
No, okay, we were talking about, okay, I have no idea how this pertains to English 101, but we were talking about genocide in Armenia. And even she incorporated feministic beliefs into that lesson, like...
Well, you know what I would have said in that case? I would have been like, genocide, war of the insects. None of you guys have seen Never mind, none of you guys have seen that movie. It's made by the people who made The X from Outer Space.
Huh, I gotta check that out. I'm gonna Google that.
It's bad.
Is it like, is it the good kind of bad?
Yes.
What is it called? Genocide, War of the Insects?
For the insects, yeah.
I think, wasn't that part of like some like really awful DVD that had like 3 random movies?
Yeah, Criterion Collection. It's called When Horror Reached Shochiku.
Oh, anyways, go ahead, David.
Forgot what I was gonna say.
With your feminist English teacher?
Oh yeah. Okay, okay, we're talking about feminist insensities and genocide, which I still don't see how that makes sense. And we were talking about movies. I'm all like, okay, I'm gonna burn this bitch because this is my subject. This is my world. And
this is you just entered my world.
You just entered my world, bitch.
And there's no escaping.
This guy, oh my god, I can't believe we just signed off because this is a perfect story.
Don't worry, remember, we have that extra section.
Oh my god. Shuwatch after hours.
Yes, this is all going to be Shuwatch after hours.
Alright, so,
Now wait,
okay.
Okay.
We entered in the film section, and we were comparing, contrasting the posters for the 1940s Zorro serials, comparing the Antonio Banderas Zorro posters.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this poster for the 1940s Zorro where Zorro is holding the damsel in distress, and there's I guess it's a French poster for the Antonio Banderas Zorro where I guess the woman is front and center aiming a sword skyward,
Mm-hmm.
and Zorro's behind her. And I guess we were comparing and contrasting how is this insensitive to women, and how the posters differentiate from each other. A majority of the class, including myself, were kind of complaining that, well, that's from the 1940s. That's when women didn't really had that much rights as today. And she was still trying to get back onto the topic. Well, how is it insensitive to women? And we kept on trying to shoot down that, saying it's not. So what I ended up doing was no. What she said that made me do this in the first place is that she said that women are always either what's the word she used? They are always overlooked sexually or not in movie posters. And she said you'll find that in every single poster ever. So what I ended up doing was taking out my phone and showing her the poster to Godzilla. Okay, it wasn't a poster, it was the leaked image of Godzilla. And I said, do you see any women there? And then the next thing she said pissed me off so much, I was ready to jump off my desk and choke the shit out of her. She said, Godzilla's the story of a caveman. And
What?
I was like,
oh my god, I would have murdered this goddamn cunt.
Now I'm imagining like this is like Kill Bill where everything turns all red. Ba ba da ba da ba.
Yes.
And at first I was thinking, I gotta choke this bitch. But then I started rethinking real quick, and then just came to the conclusion, this bitch must be stupid. So I felt it would have been a crime to injure a mentally retarded person.
That's an interesting way of looking at things.
I would love to hit you.
On top of that,
But
Well, she's a
unfortunately,
feminist. She's a feminist. She likes to think she's a boy anyways.
right. The funny thing is, in that class, she managed to recruit only 2 to 3 girls into her beliefs. A majority of the class, they just they hate the teacher. Oh, and there was this black lady, this old black lady, who always clashed with this teacher, and it was always the best of days whenever that lady tried to shoot down her beliefs.
now is this lady like another?
Always.
Is this lady like another student or what, supervisor?
Yeah, she was a student.
Oh, okay.
It was a student. Okay, the classes are like, multicultural. You got adults, you got teenagers. It's one of those classes.
Okay.
And anyways, okay. She argues with the teacher up to the point where she just straight up insults her. And one of my favorite insults that she gave to the teacher is, where did she get her degree from? Because she basically questioned her ability to teach, which I also did too. And okay, it's hard to explain with that because it was one of those situations where you had to have been there, because the class wasn't really a class, or much less an English class. It was more like a debate class. I always hated going to this class because I just sat there for like 70 minutes listening to these people just talk about feministic crap. And I did not pay to listen to a bunch of hens talk about how they're not being supportive for their mind instead of their tits. I'm like, oh, God. But it's days when that old lady kept on, fighting with the teacher. Instead, it made it worthwhile because she insulted her on a weekly basis, and it seemed like the teacher couldn't do anything about it because she couldn't back up anything. But there's my story.
Yeah.
My college story.
Yeah, you just gotta wonder how these people end up getting that sort of job,
At the end of our semesters, we have to do like these teacher evaluation stuff.
Yeah.
And it gives you a list of questions if the teacher was on time or if the teacher stuck to the curriculum. And you say agree, strongly disagree. You know.
Yeah, we have that too.
What I put for every single question was strongly disagree. This teacher should get fired.
Mm-hmm. It's like, leave your comments below, and you're like,
I honestly thought that I was prepared to write an essay, a whole essay dedicated to how this teacher should be fired, and I was ready to present my reasons why. I was disappointed when it was just like a multiple choice thing.
Mentions like, please explain in 200 words your overall thoughts on this teacher, and you're like, damn it, 200 is not enough. I need at least 2,000.